Hey, this is Schizophrenia Sucks. This is Nick. Is that my name? Could be. All right. So, this is going to be about why, God, why? Why me? Blaming God um, for schizophrenia. Or I also have hives, like really bad chronic hives, kidney stones, and I had major depressive disorder for over a decade, and I kind of have gut issues too, so I have to be careful about what I eat. It's not Crohn's, but it's like a very light version of Crohn's, maybe. So, I mean, what's that all about? So I was studying Nietzsche and the Ubermensch and thinking like maybe you can be your own god, right? You make your own rules and you're your own god. And it's like, well, I mean, I was atheist at the time. It's like, well, that's the best you can do, right? But you don't make a very good god. You can get broken pretty easy. So I wasn't like arrogant, but I was like pretty confident. And I was wrong about a lot of stuff, I think, now. Um, and it really humbled me. So God might do stuff to humble you. Like, what was it? Nebuchadnezzar? He made him eat grass. Like, he went insane and then he was like eating grass like an ox, right? And he was like the ruler of the known world at the time. So God can take like anybody, the high and the mighty, and he gives them everything and he can take it all away. So God might have been humbling me, and I guess I needed it, but it was pretty brutal. It was really hard. And also to slow me down because like I don't focus on the right things. So I'm like pretty smart. I don't think schizophrenia has affected my IQ. I know it's affected my memory. So I have like memory lapses from time to time. That makes me feel really, really stupid. But maybe God was doing this to slow me down, right? So I focus on him because like I want to go to the gym. I want to make money. I want to be the Ubermensch. I want to make my own rules. I want to study philosophy. Maybe I want to do business. Maybe I want to work on AI. Like, what's the deal with AI? Is AI going to take over the world and we're going to merge with the AI? Is that what's going to happen? Stuff like that. Um, so definitely, and like, oh, like I want to get like a really pretty girl and like get married and maybe have like um, several kids, stuff like that. So I really wanted like everything, and I was kind of going after everything, putting any time and effort I had into like making myself better to become the Ubermensch, even though I had major depressive disorder, right? Like Nietzsche, well, he was very sick too, and he wanted to be the Ubermensch, I think. So, um, yeah, I mean, I may not be the picture of the Ubermensch with pretty bad major depressive disorder, but I was definitely like on certain levels, I was really high up there and like in relative to other human beings. So not to be arrogant, but I had done a lot of work on myself, right? Like I was really strong. I had studied a lot of philosophy. I had studied a lot of stuff. So I was like, getting up there. So God may have wanted to slow me down so that I focus on things that matter, like God, and that's all that really matters. And all this other stuff is just like noise. And that's how I feel now. I just feel like everything is like a big waste of time and doesn't really matter that much, right? Like I'd still like to get married, and I still enjoy eating like good food, but that's about it. I kind of don't really care about much else. I used to care about a lot of stuff, like about America collapsing and about the West declining, stuff like that. But I don't really care anymore. It's like, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. And also to focus on God, right? Like, again, Nebuchadnezzar, like, he wrote all the stuff about how God is the true God, like, Daniel's God is the true God, something like that. I just finished reading the book of Daniel. So now I'm like focused on God, right? I go to church, I go to Bible study, I go to a church group. I'm going to be doing a homeless ministry, which is only a few hours per month, but still. And I'm taking care of my health better than I ever have been. And I'm not so focused on the gym, which is kind of like not idolatry, but I was too excessive about it. Like I spent way too much of my a limited energy on it. Like if you have the energy, you can spend a lot of effort on it. But when you have really bad depression or schizophrenia, you shouldn't be dedicating like all your time to it or like the majority of your time to it, right? It should be like um, dedicating the amount of time that it needs, and that's it. Right? Like there's other priorities that are more important. So all my ideas about Ubermensch and morality, like one of the main things is that there's no morality without God. So pursuing like any set of like morals or values is just arbitrary, and it doesn't really matter. So I went with the active nihilism, where it's like nothing means anything, and I was trying to avoid that. But I was in like passive nihilism, and I was like trying to create my own values, something like that. But I realized that it doesn't really matter. Like your values could be like, I eat a banana every day, and that's what you do, and that's like your values. Like you just make it anything you want, and it doesn't hold up over time. Like it really feels hollow and pointless. So now I feel like I have God in my life, and that's the point of everything. And even though I'm sick and disabled, like God doesn't love me less. God isn't expecting me to work or to do a bunch of stuff. Like God isn't expecting um, that from me, like the worldly social status, like getting married, having kids, making money, having a career, um, doing intelligent things, improving yourself. Like God doesn't care about that stuff that much, like the gym, right? I mean, God wants you to be in shape and to improve yourself and to like work for the glory of God and all that stuff. But it's not the same thing as like the world, right? It's not like just, oh, grind and hustle, right? So really the point of life is to like know God, love your neighbor as yourself. And you can get a lot of help out of charity, or a lot of like fulfillment out of charity. So even though I'm on like the poor end and I just get SSI, I do help like the homeless, right? I am doing that. I'm going to try to go tomorrow. I may not be able to because of the fatigue. So my chronic fatigue may keep me from doing it all the time, but I'm trying my hardest to do it. Or like I've made a commitment to do it as best I can, and other stuff too, which kind of ties into like the problem of evil. And one of the best answers, so that's like if God's good, why is the world so evil? Like why do kids get cancer? Why do I get schizophrenia and chronic hives and like a mini Crohn's disease? So I have to watch what I eat, and major depressive disorder and kidney stones. Like why, God, why? And it's like we live in a fallen evil world. Like Adam sinned and now sin is in the world. So like we deserve death, but God gives us salvation. Like we deserve death and hell, but God, like through Jesus Christ, gives us salvation. So we're getting grace, and we're definitely not getting what we deserve. So like there are no good people. So God, like we're in this world, and God does give us an out, and it's kind of like shorthand. So basically, Jesus saved us, and we don't have to go to hell or pay for our sin, right? So I can't really complain because I'm just a sinner, and I'm creating all these problems for God, and I'm not doing His will all the time. Like I'm failing, like I struggle with certain sins, right? And I'm trying to be better. I'm getting better over time, right? Right, sanctification. But it's definitely a struggle, and I can't do it myself. So, yeah. The point of life really is God and the problem of evil. I feel that's a pretty good answer. It may not be for some people, but I think it's a good answer. And there's other answers too. I just forget off the top of my head what they might be. And my life is getting better. I mean, I may not be able to have like some stellar career. I mean, I'm 36 now, and I don't have a wife, and I haven't worked for like 16 years, and I may not be able to work. We'll see. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm trying this YouTube thing. I'm always trying new stuff. I haven't given up. I might try remedies for chronic fatigue. I'm researching that. So never give up, right? And maybe God will heal you, and maybe you'll get better. Maybe there'll be a cure, right? There's all this stuff on the horizon, like AI and new science. So what is it? Every 18 months, human knowledge doubles, or every 2 years, something like that. So we may find drugs that work for us. So it is horrible. Like, why did God have to make it so hard? But, I mean, like, the only thing I'm still struggling with is not having a wife, but I've been able to accept everything else. Like, okay, God, like, I can deal with all this. Like, you give me the strength to deal with it. And even not having a wife would be hard, but I think I could deal with it, right? I think God would help me, but right now that's like the last thing that is on my mind. It's like a very strong desire of me or of mine, and yeah, it could happen in the future here. Like I'm getting better. I'm about to be in shape, so I can start like the hunt again, and yeah, so God caused all this, or God allowed all this to happen, and He like allowed Satan to torment Job, right? So um, you can be a good person and have all this bad stuff happen to you, and that's just the way life is, and you have to just accept it and know that you'll be in heaven forever and you'll be in bliss forever, and this is just temporary. So you just got to get through it, right? That's the only way I can look at life. Like I've tried to look at it through other philosophies and lenses, but it really doesn't feel like those are that helpful. So eternal paradise is really something to look forward to. I try to think about it more because I kind of get stuck in just thinking about like this life, and yeah, and I don't blame God. I'm not mad at God. Um, it is a little bit frustrating. Like not having a wife is frustrating, but I'm not mad at God. I don't blame God, and I haven't given up, and I am getting better. Um, so yeah, I don't want this to go on for too long. Like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, and if you have any content requests, feel free to request content, but just don't blame God. Maybe God's trying to get you to focus on Him. Maybe He's trying to get you to slow down. Maybe He's trying to get you to be humble. So, schizophrenia has definitely humbled me, right? It made me homeless for 2 years. I got thrown in jail, all that stuff. So, I lost all my strength. I got really fat, right? It really ruined my life, like near rock bottom. So, yeah. Um, so thank you, God, for everything, and God bless.